Welcome to the Maritime Vision podcast. In each episode, we bring you exclusive interviews with maritime professionals, industry experts, and ambitious students who are making waves in the field. Our guests come from different backgrounds, including shipping, yachting, supply chain, offshore, and more. Our goal is to motivate and empower individuals by giving them the knowledge and resources they need to succeed in the maritime world. Hello everyone, welcome to a new podcast episode. And today in this episode I am with Tunc. Welcome Tunc, thank you very much to accept this invitation. So I think you have a very interesting profile, so that's the reason why I wanted to ask you many questions regarding your background, etc. And I would like to ask you the first question. Maybe can you introduce yourself, talk about your background, your experiences, please?
Yeah. Hi, Paul. Hi. First of all, thanks for having me here. I'm Tunc from IKI Marine. I'm a naval architect working in the region of Netherlands and West Europe in the shipbuilding industry since 15 years as a consultant. And since 8 years, I have my own company, having group of specialists in the field of naval architecture. So we are active in the Netherlands mostly, helping shipyards and the marine contractors with the engineering of their projects. So that's basically it.
Okay, nice. So why did you choose to work in maritime and why naval architect?
Why? Yeah, good question. Actually, I grew up nearby the sea. I was always interested in the sea, like doing windsurf, sailing, open water swimming. So yeah, my life was always nearby the water. So when I came to the stage to choose a university studies, I wanted water to be involved in my life. So that's why I choose naval architecture, and
Oh,
I'm quite happy with the choice so far.
oh, nice. Very interesting. I mean, like you start very young, so you always worked in maritime, or did you do like before, like other kind of jobs?
Uh, no, actually, I always worked in the maritime. After my studies, during my studies, of course, I worked as a waiter in a hotel, as a barman, and all
Okay,
kind of stuff to support
of course.
financially during the university years. But when I graduated, I started in a small boat yard as an engineer. By then, we were building and designing sailing boats, racing sailing boats. And then I made a big career switch when I came to Netherlands. I started at IHC and start working on big steel ships, working ships. So
Okay.
that was a big step. But yeah, the projects I worked, they were always related to maritime.
Okay. So can you maybe talk a little bit about what kind of project did you work on? I mean, what kind of ships? What is your specialty?
Actually, we started in IKI Marine as structural specialists. So that means that we were lucky to apply our specialty in various projects, from big dredgers to super yachts, sometimes sailing boats. So it was various projects, and it is still the same way. Uh, but we mostly work on workships, meaning with that is, yeah, dredgers, heavy transport vessels, crane vessels, workboats. So mostly helping the shipbuilders building workboats.
Okay, okay. So it was more, you start more in the shipping industry than the yachting industry, you can say?
Yeah. So with the expertise in the work boats, we also joined into super yacht industry. And because when the yachts are getting bigger, the engineering complexity is much higher. Then the engineering teams are much bigger, and then you need a lot of technical specialists in the design group. So we are those specialists playing the role of naval architects in the group.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I will ask you later the question of the difference between the both industries because it's very interesting. But first, I want to ask you more about, what is the process of designing a ship? That's very interesting. I think you are the best position to talk about it.
Yeah, it always starts with the requests of the owner, whether it's a yacht or it's a commercial ship. The owner of the ship comes with a design requirements, and then the first stage is the concept design, and at that stage a design brief is created by the designers of the ship. And then the next step is the basic design, we call it. There we prepare the calculations and the drawings required to detail the ship's specifications. So these are the drawings and calculations which are approved by class societies. That's a very important step. Everything what we engineer is approved by the class. And then we go further with the detail engineering process, where we prepare the drawings for the work floor for the shipyards, so the shipyard can build the ship. So these are very detailed drawings, and with those drawings, the material can start to be assembled, and the blocks are created, and that's how the shipbuilding proceeds in the shipyard.
Oh, okay, okay. So I imagine before, like when you want to build a ship, you have the ship owner, for the customer, he ask you like many criterias. And is it sometimes like you cannot build the ship because he asks something which is not possible?
Yeah. Actually, that is true. Always, the owners, of course, they want to have their ships, if it's a commercial ship, very profitable. But that has always the limits. It needs to be built according to regulations. So it needs to be safe. When the ship is launched, it must survive during all the storms. For example, it must create a nice working environment for the people on board. So we need to take into account all these kind of criteria. And when we start listing those criteria, the first design in the mind of the ship owner becomes more realistic. And then this sometimes it is totally something else than what he has in mind, so the project doesn't go further. But sometimes it evolves to a stage that it can be really realized, and in that case the project continues, and all the engineering and building stages are executed to build the ship.
Okay. And did you have, like, for example, you start designing, make everything to create the ship, and you had to cancel the conception of the ship because it was not possible to continue for any reasons?
Yes, actually, the operating criteria sometimes limit this, because someone comes with an idea to be operate in the inland waters, for example, which is much more calmer than open sea. And then commercially he realized that operating the ship only inland is not profitable, so the ship must operate also in the open seas. There was one case like this, that the project was cancelled before the building started, luckily, so the losses were minimal. We did the engineering, and because after you do the first round of engineering, you have an idea about the costs of the project. That's also very important. And then you see the costs and you see the profit, and then you need to make a decision whether to go on or cancel it.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so now I want to switch to another questions. I think it's still in the process of create a ship. What is the most important factors you need to take into account? I think you said about safety. I think it's the most important things when you create a ship.
Yeah, safety and also the efficiency. There's energy is limited, I must say. Although there are alternative energy sources which we are working on, we still need to be always energy efficient. So for us as an engineering office, that is one of the most important criteria to be energy efficient. And yeah, actually, I can say three things. First, safety, and then efficiency, and then profitability for the commercial ships. So yeah, those are three criteria.
Okay, interesting. Every years we have more challenges. We have sustainability right now, which is a big challenge. And do you see in your job, you need to take into account sustainability when you process to create a ship? Is it something very important right now, or it still doesn't have impact on your job?
Actually, we with the sustainability, we try to be really careful, and we don't want to make radical changes in the work, in our work principles, let's say. In the past, it was the same or similar to our approach right now, that we always try to design efficient ships, which means that it should consume as less fuel as possible. And to achieve that, you have some criteria that you need to make the systems in the ship very efficient, and the construction very light. And for the users of the ship, for the crew, it must be operatable, let's say. So that is also part of the efficiency. So for us, efficiency comes first, and that leads to a sustainable shipping in our minds.
Okay. So I want to ask you one question, very important, I think, and that's the question I think you really like this question about the difference between shipping and yachting. I mean, is it different when you want to create a yacht than a ship? On what is in the industry the difference in terms of course, the customer, but I mean, is it more complicated to create a yacht or a ship? Do we have more important factors to take into account? Can you talk a little bit about it, please?
Yeah, actually, the projects we work on at IKI Marine are usually large projects, which I can say 100-meter plus. So we have projects of 100-meter plus work boats and 100-meter plus super yachts. In that sense, the engineering, I would say, equally complex. At the end, a big yacht is no different than a big ship. So I couldn't say that there are big differences for us as the creators of the vessels. But what I can say definitely is that the needs and the requests are different. Normally, the commercial ships comes with a very clear description. The ship needs to build on purpose to serve the purpose of the company who is building it. But for the yachts, the needs can can vary from time to time, depending on the trends. So what we see in the yacht building projects is that the initial request, the initial design description changes during the process of the project, and at the end sometimes it becomes something else, because there is one owner which can define, and there they see, during the yacht owners, they see the needs during the process. So when the yacht is built, the owner visits on board and says, oh, I didn't like this, I would like to change this, and then there is no commercial pressure on him, so he can do changes. The time is not an issue most of the time. So that's what we experience mostly, that the process is a bit longer than the commercial ships due to the
Interesting.
changes.
Okay, it's good to know. Okay, and did you work on this? I made a video about it, converted yacht. You take a commercial vessels and you
Yeah.
try to transform into a yacht. Did you work on this kind of ships?
So far, we didn't have a big refit project like that. There were some projects we were involved partly, but we didn't take over a complete refit of a work vessel into a pleasure yacht. But what we see mostly is that the supply vessels, nowadays, the big super yachts, they also have a supporting vessel next to them. So
Yeah.
those vessels, we can call them also yachts, because if you look at the interior, it must a bit match with the main yacht. So we were involved with partly with that kind of projects, and you see that there is a big benefit to convert a work vessel into a yacht support vessel, because then you can accommodate a lot of cranes on board,
Yeah.
and those are used for the toys of the yacht. In this case, yes, small sailing boats, jet skis, and motorboats, etc. So there is a big advantage to use in that case the workboats, because they have a strong structure where you can accommodate a lot of equipment. And those are used to support the yachts.
Okay, interesting. I think in the Netherlands we have a very famous shipyard who build this kind of yacht. I don't know if it's Amel's shipyard or
Shipyard, yeah.
Amel shipyard. I think they build a lot of support vessels, and we have also something very a lot of people want this kind of yacht. This is a explorer yacht. So can you talk a little bit about what is an explorer yacht and what is the specificity, I mean, of these special yachts?
Yeah, actually, now the trend is to explore new regions in the world. The yacht owners, it used to be that their main areas were Caribbean and Mediterranean, and now they want to explore also the North Pole. So the regions which were not accessible before with normal yachts, and there the need for explorer yachts come into play. Explorer yachts usually they have much stronger hull due to ice class, because they can, they literally break the ice. So in the ice class, in the hull, you have a strong belt where you can break the ice, and also on board you have much larger generators in the harsh conditions of the northern coordinates of the world. There you must get stuck in the ice and you must survive for longer periods. So that's why the provision storages are much bigger, generators are much bigger. So they are actually, in way of needs, they are no different than any commercial vessel working at that latitude. Only the interiors are much better. They are serving much more luxury to the clients. So
Okay.
in that sense, they are no different than the yachts. So there's a for a good explorer yacht, there needs to be a really good mixture of luxury and functionality at the same time, because there is no the room for errors or problems on board are much less than mild conditions of
Of course.
Mediterranean or Caribbean. So
Okay, yeah, okay, it's interesting to know from your point of view. And in terms of still created a ship, what kind of ship? This is I think the most complicated one. You need to you have many problems you need to solve in terms of engineering or else. What kind of ships is very complicated for naval architecture?
we were lastly involved in a largest cutter dredger project of the world, which was built here in Krimpen in Rotterdam by IHC Shipyard. In that project, it was also LNG propelled vessel, and since due to its size, it was a very complicated project. And in that project, we were hired by the engineering office who are designing the ship. So in the design of this vessel, we are talking about periods of more than 3 years with more than 70 engineers. So it was a really big project. So we were hired in that project for various finite element calculations for some equipment such as sput legs, the winch foundations, the cutter equipment, and so that
Yeah,
kind
you
of
have
stuff.
a lot of equipments on board, and it's like more
Yeah,
work
yeah.
than a regular vessel. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. So, and since it was the biggest of the world, all the sizes, loads were much bigger than the previous largest vessel of the world. So there was a
Yeah,
big difference.
3 years. It's a lot. 3 years.
Yeah, it was a long period
Yeah.
for engineering office to create that design, and for the shipyard getting it realized, and now the ship is operational. So
Okay. Okay. So, when you build a ship, you need to collaborate with many other professions. I mean, designer. I don't know. You have so many of them. So, can you explain what kind of with who are you working like when you build a ship?
yeah. As I mentioned before, we join large project teams as technical specialists, and the first point of contact for us is the engineering manager or the project manager from the shipyard side. So that is that person is who we are reporting. And in the design process, we are mostly in communication with the ship owners' representatives, the superintendents, also the class association, because we send all the design and calculations to be approved by the class. So we are in close contact with the class, and we are also in close contact with the production. Because during the production process, there are some questions which can be not clear on the drawing. So then the question comes back to the engineering office. So that's why we are in close coordination with production. We are also in close contact with the procurement, because procurement needs to be done way advanced. All the big items on the ships, they need to be ordered way before the project starts. And especially after the Corona times, the delivery times are much longer. So that is also a very critical process. And due to these long delivery times, there is no room for mistakes when you order an engine or a winch or a crane. So the technical specification must be correctly given. So we are also we need to make sure that it goes correct. And besides that, we are also in contact with the captains because they are the ones who will operate the ship. Mostly, the captains are involved also in the building process of the ship, and they always provide very useful feedback for the designers because
Interesting.
their experience from the practical side contributes a lot to the design process. So yeah, that's
I knew that with yachting, for example. I worked in a yacht management company, and sometimes we worked on new build yachts. And the captain always followed the construction of the yacht, but I didn't know with shipping, like you have ship owner and the captain. I thought the captain always change, but it's possible that sometimes you can follow up the whole process.
Yeah, actually, in the big companies where with large fleets, you have the fleet manager, which
Yeah.
most of the time comes from captain background. So with the captain, I mean the fleet manager in the commercial companies. So who gives the feedback from the operational side of the things. And with the yacht projects, indeed, as you mentioned, it's directly the captain
Yeah.
of the yacht who is involved during the whole process of the design and the building.
Okay. So you have very close relationship with the project manager. I mean the project manager. Can you explain a little bit what is the complete difference between your job and his job? Because sometimes some people can think the project manager work on Naval Architecture, do the same job as you.
Yeah. Actually, project manager is responsible of the whole budget and
Mm.
planning and the execution of the project. So as engineers, we work mostly on the technical aspects. So
Okay.
under the project manager, there is engineering manager, there is procurement manager, there is planning manager, and then the production. So the project manager is on top, and all the other disciplines are linked to it. So
Good.
engineering is one of these disciplines, and of course within the engineering, you have the engineering disciplines, which is mechanical, structure,
Oh, okay.
and the naval architecture part. So our contact is directly project manager. He leads all the projects, also from the financial side, and he sometimes asks questions: How long does the engineering take? What is the budget, etc. So
Mm.
he can then decide how the planning changes related to engineering, for example, and how the procurement must be adapted to that, etc., etc.
Okay, but naval architecture is it's a it's very large domain. So do you have some specialty like niche, or it's like you do everything? Because yeah, building a yacht it's
Actually,
a lot.
uh, myself, I come from structural engineering background, so
Okay.
I studied naval architecture, but then started working in the structural calculations, and then started IKI Marine as we first act as structural specialist, but now in the team we have also mechanical engineers, stability specialists,
Mm.
CFD analyst people. So we can now do, as a company, we can do all aspects of naval architecture.
Okay.
But yeah, if you ask me personally, I always done structural engineering in the past, and now I have
Okay.
to manage a team of various disciplines.
So your company do everything. I mean, because do we have some companies who just specialize on one field in naval architecture, or most of them just do everything on their higher specialized people?
Yeah, actually, there are companies specialized in one discipline. Some companies only do structural calculations. Some companies only do CFD calculations, for example. Because the projects, the big shipbuilding complex projects require a lot of engineers. There are teams like 50 to 150 people sometimes. And then even with in that teams, there are some small companies helping with some particular subjects, some particular assignments. So that's why, and in the Netherlands, there is a variety. There's quite a nice knowledge in the field of naval architecture. So one of the leading countries in the world. So that's why there are a lot of small, mid-size, and large engineering companies in the market.
Okay, so good switch talking about the Netherlands. How is the market for naval architecture in the Netherlands? Is it a big hub for building ship? I know it's a big hub for yachts, but about ships?
Yeah, actually, it's still a big hub. I can say that we are building here standard commercial vessels like container vessels, tankers. It was in the past, but not anymore. Here in Netherlands, we are leading the world with the complex marine projects, like the best in the dredger design, also heavy lift vessels, heavy transport vessels, and all the floating equipment you need in the North Sea. For example, with wind farm installation projects currently, or in the past with the oil and gas projects. So all the equipment can be designed in the Netherlands, and which I think the country needs to be proud of.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's the reason why I came here to study the maritime.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you another three other questions about the recent advancements on trends in naval architecture. What is new in 2023 in your job?
What is new? Actually, digitalization, I would say, because shipbuilding always was a handcrafted work. Like in the past, the frames of the ship were drawn one-on-one on the field of the production floor, and there the frames were bent to follow the hull lines. And to come from that now to digital tools was a big transformation, but it took many years. But in the last years, this digitalization curve goes a bit more rapid with the involvement of artificial intelligence. I think the things are changing more rapidly in way of digital design and digital tools. So everything is of course to make engineering more efficient, to do it more reliable in less time using less sources. So that's why the new digital tools are helping us a lot.
Okay, so this question was not on my list, but what? So you're a naval architect and the owner of a company. So what things should be improved in naval architect to make it better for the future?
I think I would say again the efficiency of the vessels needs to be improved, because now with the energy crisis we are looking at the energy sources, alternative energy sources. But on the other hand, we should not forget that even if we have sustainable energy, we need to use it efficiently. So in that sense, we need to find the balance between the over-engineered and under-engineered. So there is, with a good design, you need to optimize. You shouldn't design things over-engineered or under-engineered. So to be on the safe side, we always tend to design things over-engineered, but the balance needs to be found. and
Okay.
that is only possible with the best optimization tools we use at the moment.
Okay.
And I see with the large complex maritime projects there is still a lot of room to improve in way of efficiency, and that's what we are working every day on.
Okay, okay, good to know. And two last questions about we already talked a little bit about sustainability, but I would just want to ask you what we can do on board ships to make it more sustainable.
Uh, yeah, it doesn't matter if it's a small yacht or small boat or a large ship.
Commercial vessels. I mean, like
Commercial vessel,
yeah.
I think the behavior should be the same to consume as less energy as possible, um, and that we can define the processes on board such that the energy total energy consumption is minimized. That is one thing. We can use alternative materials. That is also something where we can save a lot of energy, and we can be sustainable in the shipbuilding. So I think these are the two things I can name for now.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite good. Yeah, because the European Union wants to, in 2050, to be completely neutral. So I don't. It's very ambitious. So I don't know if they will achieve this goal. But yeah, I think we need to. That's the reason why I created this podcast. To ask every profession in the industry to know what they think about it. Is it something possible? So, what, in your opinion, is it something possible or not?
Actually, it requires rapid changes, but in the current environment, to be honest, I don't see that rapid changes happening because the commercial interests always given the highest priority,
Yeah.
to be honest. So in that sense, I don't see that's the rapid change happening to
Yeah.
zero energy
Yeah,
effects.
I think the same. It's a lot of greenwashing on just to say we're doing good things, but in the background, it's
Yeah,
quite complicated right now to make
yeah.
it.
Actually, we always believe in the smooth transitions. So of course, the the trend line of the energy efficiency should be increased, but it
Mm,
must be smooth. So if we make a rapid change today, we should be able to continue it in the coming years. So that's why we believe that the changes must be very structured so that they can survive.
yeah, yeah, I agree. So I want to ask you the last question because we have many, young people, students who listen my episodes, and I want to ask you what advice would you give to someone who want to make the same job as you, or just someone working in the industry?
My advice to the students in the technical schools would be that they should be prepared to continue working like in the school. Most of the people think that after graduating, I will start directly managing companies, blah blah. But in engineering, it's not like that. The first years in the business after graduation is just a continuation of the academic projects, kind of technical calculations in the school. So you need to prepare and to be patient to do that. After that, you can manage things, or you can continue if you enjoy doing engineering. But in the engineering, I think, yeah, the students need to be prepared to do a lot of calculations, to spend a lot of
Mm,
time with trial and errors and creating things. So that's in nowadays world, people expect very quick results, but
yeah,
no, we should be we should have more patience on that, and just keep working hard.
Yeah, it's good to know because I think we will have a big shortage for naval architect in the future because it's quite complicated now to people wants to make the maritime industry is not very good. We don't have big representation in the world, and I'm very scared of the lack of new talents, new naval architect, but it can be seafarer or other kind of jobs in the industry.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
there is unfortunately a shortage in the technical people.
yeah,
So I think our job is to make it more attractive to the next generations, because creating things digitally on your screen and then seeing them getting realized is a really nice feeling. That is our motivation in the office always. So we need to be able to explain it to the next generations in the best way possible.
yeah. Good. It's a very good word. And do you want to add something like word of the end? If you have something,
Actually, no, thanks for having me, Paul. Your podcast is very interesting.
thank
I
you.
think it is one of the tools I just mentioned to make our profession interesting to the students, to the young generation. So thanks for doing it,
Thank you.
and keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you, Tunç. You bring so many value in this podcast, and I'm completely sure people will like this episode. I just want to say I wish you all the best in your future in your profession. You're doing a very good job. So thank you, and have a very good day.
Thank you. Have a
Adios.
good day. Bye bye.
Thank you for listening this episode, and we look forward to sharing more inspiring stories from the maritime industry with you. Don't hesitate to subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Your support means a lot to us, and it greatly helps in our continuous growth. We're committed to bringing you more exciting episodes with passionate guests.